Hi all and welcome back. So we are starting a series on ECMA Script 2021 because a lot of people are asked around the same. So we'll go step by step and I will try to cover each and every topic around ECMA Script inspired by Earl's tutorial. Okay. So this welcome to our first channel on ECMA Script where we'll be looking into let and constant. Okay. And how exactly it differs from the variable. So today we'll focus on two essential keywords for variable declaration, which is let and constant. As discussed, these keywords are powerful tool for variable scoping and will help you write cleaner and more reliable code. To make this lesson more engaging, we'll be using some fun examples. Okay, so let's dive into the same. So in the past, we often used before that, I want to make. So for this tutorials, we'll be using background script, and as you must be aware from the start, if you not, so ECMA Script 21 for ECMA Script 21, it only supported on the scoped application. So how exactly you can configure it out? So for instance, I have this particular scope application. If I go over here, there is this particular open record option. And if I go to this open record, you can see the configuration for the entire scoped application and make sure that it's selected to the ECMA Script 21 ES12. And we'll be using background script for the same. So you can go to the background script and here you can select the scope. So it's already selected because I've selected that particular application out. But if it's not selected, don't select global. You select the scoped application in which you want to work in. So this will be the setup for all the tutorials. So you keep this in mind. So in the past, we often used to use variable with var keyword. Okay, we often declare variables using var keyword. So for example, if you want to declare name, so variable name used to be, for example, Amit, or let's take a break first. Okay, so this is how we used to define it out. But in ECMA Script, okay, we'll be looking into two different alternatives for variable, which is let and const. With the introduction of let and const, you will rarely need to use var again. Okay, this new keyword offers better way to manage variable scopes and reduce the error in your code. So let's understand the let variable first. So the let keyword introduces blocks level scoping, which is more intuitive than the functional level scoping for variable. Okay, for an example, let's take this example. Imagine you are planning for your morning routine. You can declare a variable let for task that may change. So if I paste it over here, so you can see let task is brush teeth, and as we know that this may change, so I will just remove it out because console.log is not supported. I will just go with gs.info and I will copy the same over here. Okay, so we can change our task, right? So the first task is brush teeth. Now after putting it to the console, I'm just redefining that particular task, reinitiating that task with make coffee function. And if I run it out, okay, let's see how exactly it works. It works exactly the same how variable used to work. So we saw it's brush teeth, okay, fine. And then we have reassigned that particular task let variable with make coffee, and we can see the output for the same. Now let's see how exactly it works with the block scoping, okay, and where exactly it's more useful than the variable. So for instance, now let's use variable in a scope level as block level scope. Okay, I will just copy paste something out. Okay, I've just created all the, and I will just remove this out. Why I'm getting console.log? Because I was trying the same on the VS script, VS code. Sorry, my bad. So gs.info menu, and I will just do the same for this. Okay, perfect. So if true, let menu be pancake. Okay, so we are considering it's true only. Okay, pancake, and we are just we are just printing the menu over here. So let's try to run it out. So what happened? menu is not defined. Why? Okay. The first and the foremost thing, this is the feature. Okay, it's not a bug. This is a feature. So for instance, if I just comment this particular line out, okay, so you can see we got the variable menu. Okay, but if I try to print it the next time, okay, I will just uncomment this out, and if I uncomment this, it's giving an error stating menu is not defined. Okay, why? Because when we are working with the let, it get enclosed in the curly braces, okay, in the scope. So basically that particular variable is not accessible outside that those curly braces. But when we are working with variable, okay, this will not be the case. Okay, let's try the same. So I will just do the copy paste of the same with the variable. Here you will see the difference. Variable, perfect, and variable menu where I will do. And if I do menu var as a print over here, so it will give pancake. So you must be thinking, what is the disadvantage of this? Okay, so when we are working with variable, right, it's not scope. So basically it's defined on a global level. So there is a higher chances that if someone is writing script outside that particular scope, okay, and using the same variable name, then they may override the value which you have already defined, right? So every time you want that your variable should work inside the scope only, inside the scope of the function. So that's where it adds value when we use let. It makes sense, right? Okay. So in this example, the let keyword restricts the scope of menu, okay, to the block in which it is declared. Attempting to access menu outside of the block results in error. So this is all about let. Okay, pretty simple. Now let's understand constant. Okay, the const keyword is used to declare variables that should not change after their initial assignment. Okay, for instance, if you want to declare certain variables, certain assignment group, okay, which will not change, or certain value like value of pi, which will never change, right? Directions east, west, north, south, which will never change. So during that particular time, you can use constant. Okay, so with constant, you can't override that particular value out in any case. So for an instance, think of your favorite coffee blend that never changes. Okay, so for me, it's, if I take the example, for me, the coffee is Ethiopian blend. Okay, now this is my favorite coffee. Okay, cool. Now it will never change for me because it's my favorite. Okay, that's why I've defined it as const. So if I just do gs.log for the same, sorry, gs.info, gs.info for the same. So it's Ethiopian blend. Okay, now if imagine trying to change your favorite coffee, okay, to mid brew. Okay, so for instance, if I try to do this, if I try to just update it out, okay, so again, the constant favorite coffee is Ethiopian blend. Now someone is trying to update my favorite coffee. Okay, someone is trying to override that particular value out with Colombian blend. They are trying to superimpose their thoughts on my mind, but as I've defined constant, it will not work. Okay, so it will give some error. Let's see what it gives. Error cannot reassign to variable declared with const. Perfect, right? So this is how it helps. So in this example, const ensure that the value of favorite coffee remains constant throughout the script. Attempting to reassign favorite coffee result in error. Isn't it good? So you must be thinking when to use let and const, right? So if you ask me, use constant for variables that should not change. This make your code more predictable and easier to debug. Okay, and use let for variables that may change. Okay, this provides flexibility while still maintaining block level scope. Okay, and if you want to use variable when you want to screw up your code. Okay, at later instance by some parasite developer, so you can use variable also. Just kidding out. Okay, so let's imagine planning a picnic. Okay, you know the maximum number of people attending won't change. I'm just repeating. So imagine we will work on the picnic planning scenario. So imagine planning a picnic. Okay, you know the maximum number of people attending won't change because you have just invited those people out. Okay, but the list of items to bring might change, right? That makes sense. So I will just copy the code for the same and let's try to understand in detail. So what I'm doing over here, as I know that the number of people will not change, so I have defined it as constant. So constant maximum people is 5 and let item. So initially I have items as sandwiches and juice, okay? But there's a possibility it will change, right? So I have made it the array as a let, okay? Sandwiches and juice, okay? Now I came to know that with sandwiches, people will definitely require water bottles. Makes sense, right? Okay. So for that, what I did, update, I tried to update one bottle for each person. Okay. So what I'm doing over for loop, so basically for each member, okay, till maximum people, right? For each member, I'm trying to add one bottle in the items area, right? It makes sense. And I will simply do gs.info for the same. Okay. So let's run it out and see what we get. So now we can see the array got updated. Okay, it has sandwiches, juice, and one bottle for each. Like bottle one, bottle two. I hope it's clear. Okay, bottle one, bottle two, bottle three, bottle four, and bottle five. Okay, so in this example, maximum people is declared as constant because its value should not change, while item is declared with let because it will change as you prepare for the picnic. Okay. So with this example, we understand where exactly in which scenarios we can use constant and which scenario we can use let. Okay. Let's look into avoiding where. With the benefits of let and constant, there are very few situations where you should use var. Okay. Block level scoping provided by let and const reduce the risk of variable hoisting and accidental overrides, making your code more robust and maintainable. So in the conclusion, we can say that by using let and const for variable declaration, you can improve the predictability and readability of your code. Okay. Remember, you should use constant for variable that should not change. You should use let for variable that needs to be changed. Okay. At certain point. Avoid var to prevent scope related issues. Okay. So this concludes our first lesson. By properly scoping your variable, you will be able to code easier. Okay. To understand and debug. See you in the next lesson. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.